Hey, welcome to the Team Babe podcast. I'm Jason, and I'm Babe.
And I'm Robin, and I'm Babe.
Hi out there.
Hi.
How y'all doing?
Hey.
How are your wildfires doing?
Howdy.
Is everybody safe? Is everybody safe and sound?
Hope so.
I'm safe, but I don't know if I'm sound.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
We're safe for the moment.
Yeah.
But sound is another issue.
Yeah. Based on last night and some of the stuff we were watching, and what I was saying about it, I don't know if I'm sound. I might be mentally unfit to continue.
In life or with fire?
No, I meant just as like the captain of this starship or whatever, you know? Like, there might have to be a mutiny.
Man, I didn't even know you were the captain of the starship. See, this is
Therein lies the problem.
Okay. Right.
Right?
Right.
Like,
yeah.
If everybody should know who the captain is.
That's true.
But if the captain is like having his mind blown by various documentaries and stupid shows or whatever, you know.
You were having your mind blown actually last night when we were watching Nexium.
Yeah, The Vow.
The Vow, yeah.
That's a good one. Yeah, we've been watching some stuff, man. You know, there's so much to do, so much to see, so many people to go visit, blah, 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 blah.
So many parties.
We're
going out every night.
COVID parties, this and that, going out, seeing this person, you know.
Yeah.
Just like constant action, you know.
My dance card's full.
Yeah. So yeah, we've been watching and rewatching some things. But yeah, no, that The Vow HBO documentary like blew my mind way more than I expected that it would.
It's strange. At first I was like, this is a very boring cult. You know, on the first episode I was like, this is very like blah. Yeah.
Well, what did I tell you? I was like, I think they're doing this on purpose.
Oh, you're right.
This is like
it was a slow burn.
This is the long game here. Like, it's going to make the mind-blowing stuff so much more mind-blowing.
No, you were right. And it is definitely worth watching so far. I mean, I think we're about 5 episodes on or so. And yeah, it's interesting. I think it's like good life lessons. I mean, even if you're not in a cult or even if you're not thinking of joining a cult, it's probably good information just for life, you know?
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I think, like, nobody thinks they're joining a cult. Some people know, and they're like, okay, this is cool. I like it. Fuck the sun. I get a free haircut. You know, all the Adam Sandler bits or whatever from his album.
Or the Simpsons or whatever. Get the robe and all that.
The Simpsons?
Yeah, no, they have an episode where somebody joins a cult and they got a robe and they're like talking about playing basketball and all that stuff.
Wow, I've never heard you talk about the Simpsons other than to like completely like say that you fucking hate it.
I do, whatever. But I just remember that particular episode for some reason, and I thought it was mildly funny.
Okay,
you know, like that lady on Silicon Valley. I found it mildly amusing.
That's another show we've been watching. We've been rewatching Silicon Valley.
Yeah.
So that's fun.
It is fun.
I mean, you know, the show is really cheesy and hokey sometimes. Every once in a while, like, it cracks me up, though. It's worth it.
It is worth it.
And then it's kind of worth it for the outro music, also.
It's a good soundtrack.
Some good shit on there, man.
Yeah. What was that album that you kind of like discovered or rediscovered because of that show?
Oh, it was like a DJ Shadow album that has the Run the Jewels track on. I don't know, it's like the second track or whatever.
It's solid. That's solid.
It's what I would call very aggressive. Quite the banger.
Well, it's right up my alley. I don't know. I mean,
bangers and mash.
I'm into it. But I don't know if I'd recommend it to like all my friends or anything, but I like it.
Yeah. Well, that's all that matters. You know, music and TV, art, you know, as we've talked about before, like it's all a very subjective thing, you know.
That's for sure.
When you start trying to categorize, classify, and, you know, give it some sort of like fucking, you know, like it's this good or it's that good.
Oh, rating.
Yeah, you try to rate it and think that that's going to apply to everybody or whatever, you know?
I mean, the whole world is based on ratings, though.
What is reality, man?
Don't ask me.
We're all just trying to make sense of this thing, which reminds me, that when we were watching The Vow, not this week, but the week before, we learned, or I had, the brainstorm, the realization that everything is a cult. Our family is a cult.
Right.
Redding's a cult.
Right.
California. It's like anything that you do or that you're part of is a cult.
Football.
Just some of them are better than others.
Tennis.
Yeah.
Coke.
Like if you're
Pepsi.
a fan of the 49ers or
Whatever.
something.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, you believe it's good.
Yeah.
And if you believe something is good, then you have been inducted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that ability, I don't know, what was it, that Sapiens book and stuff where they're talking about like, how humans, had the ability to like tell lies basically, like tell stories, create myths and stuff like that. And that's what set us apart from like Neanderthal people. And that's why they, we killed all of them. All of them.
And that's, people have that ability, so why not? They've been telling stories about all kinds of stuff since they could tell a story.
Yeah.
And hey, here we are doing the same thing right now.
Yeah, I would say some of them are good. Like, of course, like all your churches are cults. I'm not trying to be harsh or anything, but, just fucking think about it, man.
Well, I'm not offended, but some people out there will find that extremely offensive. Just FYI.
Yeah.
You might not want to bring it up at like the next Zoom dinner party or whatever,
Okay. Yeah. So, like, whether you like Silicon Valley or The Vow or Game of Thrones, you are a certified cult member. No sense in denying it or, trying to not be in one, because what's the alternative? You could just, like, be a, like, blob and sit in like a fish tank or something like that. Which would be weird because that would have to be like a big fish tank for me. I'm just coming up with different analogies and ways to explain myself.
Unfortunately, when you just said that, I pictured a glass coffin. Would be a human-sized fish tank.
That's perfect.
Yeah. So, but I'll tell you what cult I'm in, actually. I'm in the Long Way Up cult.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's my shit right there.
Yeah. Apple TV Plus has Long Way Up, the follow-up to Long Way Around and Long Way Down. 14 years later or 13 years later?
It's been a minute.
Or something like that.
Yeah.
Since the last series, Long Way Up or Long Way Down aired. And it's pretty cool so far. I mean, it's just like right back on the horse, man.
I know.
Or the motorcycle.
I mean, I don't even care about motorcycles, so it's funny that I like the show so much. Of course, it has Ewan McGregor in it, which I'm a big fan.
Yeah.
But it's just really well done, and it's like travel. So I'm in the travel cult.
Mm-hmm.
I'm all about that travel life.
Yeah.
And so this is like a little vacation each week.
Yeah, it comes out weekly. I think I kind of like that.
I recommend it.
I like that.
I'm going to go on a little vacation.
I'm going to recommend it.
Each week. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah, anyway, so this season, installment of the series, they're riding electric motorcycles and electric trucks, like expedition vehicles.
Yep.
And it's pretty neat. I mean, apparently they didn't die because we would have probably heard about it, and maybe they made it. I don't know.
Oh yeah, they made it. You know them. They live this charm life.
Yeah.
I'm gonna live that charm life. I'll tell you what. Before I'm dead, I'm gonna live that charm life. Do you hear me?
Okay. Yeah, and until then, you'll have to watch or listen to "Semi Charmed Kind of Life" by
I will not.
Third Eye Blind.
I will not. I'll do no such thing.
That'll be your motivator.
Ugh. No. No. I'll just skip it. That's what I have to do.
Yeah, you could just skip it and go ahead and put in the COVID-19 mixtape.
Oh, that's true.
If you like.
That's true. I could do that.
If it suits your fancy.
Yeah. You know what else happened this week that was kind of strange? Yeah, you do. Charlie got rid of his wisdom teeth.
Oh, yeah. That's right. Mr. Chuckles had a little oral surgery.
He did.
This week.
He did.
Handled it like a champ.
He really did.
So far.
Yep.
I was a little worried because, my wisdom teeth experience was not so sweet.
Oh, it was awful.
Yeah, it was like, I don't know. Mine were all impacted and didn't get them out till later. And yeah, I was pretty laid up, man.
Oh, like I came over to like check on you. I'd skip school and like come over and like check on the patient, in your recovery, and you were just like, I mean, I hate to describe it.
Well, don't then. I'll describe it. I picture myself laying on the couch or on the floor, like with drool hanging out the corner of my mouth, or with like various ice cream receptacles.
Yes.
Probably like set all around me, sort of like what you would picture like a junkie like heroin shooting gallery type of thing, like a Train Spotting, but with ice cream and TV and drool.
Yeah, that's pretty close. It's pretty close.
And Tylenol with codeine or whatever they gave me.
Yeah.
Which was helping facilitate
the drool a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think you ate nothing else but milkshakes for 7 days straight. I mean, it was a little bit crazy. At the end of that week, I was like, wow, it's time for you to leave the house. And you were like, no, this is my life now.
My skin was probably starting to get all translucent. Oh my God,
like,
I can see through my hand.
I just one more day. I was like, I knew.
So your physical therapy begins today.
Yeah, to slap you around a little bit.
Mental therapy.
Yeah. But Charlie, no, he's fine. And it's a little bit funny. I thought he was going to wake up and act like a fool. No. He woke up and just was sitting in the chair, and he's like, I'm ready to go. Just
down to business, man.
Yeah. And I was like, no, you gotta sit in the chair.
It's not personal, it's business.
He's like, no, I'm gonna take this blanket off. I'm like, nope, you're gonna sit in the chair for 5 more minutes. I'm gonna go home. I'm done. I'm ready to go. Well, he's still just like kind of like
woozy. Oh yeah, he did a fun thing where he couldn't talk because his mouth was all full of gauze. Or something. I wasn't there. You described it to me, and then he showed me later on. But he couldn't talk, but he wanted to tell you something,
right?
And so he motioned for his iPod,
right,
and typed out a note.
And then showed it to me.
It was like absolute gibberish and did not mean anything. It had like a bunch of emojis, and it had like he put a table in there, on accident somehow.
And it said like install and something, and then a bunch of emojis, and then like tell, and then like I.
Yeah.
And I was like,
all right, I give up.
What are you trying to say? And then he like took all the gauze out of his mouth, which he wasn't supposed to do. And he was like, I'm feeling woozy. I was like, I got it.
So that's what that means.
That was what that meant. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we deciphered that mystery.
And he looks funny now because he's got he's such a skinny. Well, you don't know.
No, he hasn't been a guest. Yeah, maybe this season he'll be a guest.
Yeah, that'd be fun. We'll have to have Mr. Charles on. But he's got such a skinny face, and he's all swollen, so he looks like he looks sort of like when Monica had the fat suit on in Friends, a little bit. Not quite that bad, but a little similar. Mm-hmm. Like he's got these puffy jowls, man.
To me, he looks sort of like a G.I. Joe, where like they made their head too big for their body or something. It's really funny. Yeah.
Totally.
So it's been a little bit of a strange week between a new fire right next door, go away fire, and
there's a new fire. Who knows where it'll be by the time you're watching or seeing this, but went from like, fires usually start from 0, right? But anyway, the first we heard about it was like 400 acres, okay. But it's super windy, crazy. And then it's like, it's 7,000 acres, and then it's 14,000 acres like 12 hours ago. Well, now it's 30,000. Cool.
I love it.
This doesn't bring up any bad mojo from a couple of years ago.
Yeah, I have to tell you, I'm fighting the anxiety pretty hardcore.
Yeah.
And I didn't even lose my house or anything. Really, I mean, it was just a very stressful time. I think everybody that kind of was around here probably has some PTSD, but I can't imagine what it's like for the people that lost everything 2 years ago. And so it's weird because we got the same fires again, right? We got one here in basically the same area that it happened last time. Very close. And then we have another fire that's like really close to Paradise. So it's very bizarre. Feels kind of like deja vu. And that and the wisdom teeth and a lot of Zelda Breath of the Wild going on. And
Charlie's home,
right, he's
laid up.
Just laid up trying to recover. So it's been like 10 hours a day of Zelda happening. And then, I've been reading my book, and it's a surreal, it's a little bit of a surreal time. I'll give my book review later though.
Oh, okay. Hold off until
I'm gonna finish it, and then I'll give my summary.
That'll be fun because that's one of your old faves.
It is.
We won't even say what it is.
Nope.
Just yet.
Nope.
We'll keep them. We'll keep them guessing. Keep them waiting.
For sure.
Yeah. For sure. Yeah. So I don't know. There's definitely some cool stuff we've been watching, but it'd be great to find something new. I mean, it's a good movie and everything, but we watched Jerry Maguire again the other night.
Oh, we only watched half of it though.
Oh yeah, that's true. We didn't finish it.
No, we had to finish it.
But it was good.
It is good.
You remember that?
Yep. It's always good. It's still good.
Well, we'll put it on for 15 or 20 minutes, and we'll see how it's going. If we get bored or whatever, then we'll just watch something else. We'll try to get a little bit more creative or whatever. And then I look at the clock, and it's been an hour and 15 minutes. I'm like, okay, I guess that's how it's a pretty good movie.
It is.
Like, it's pretty entertaining. It gets you right in there.
Beautifully shot. It has those gold Kodak tones, which how much I love.
Oh, you love those gold Kodak tones.
It's got classic cruise, which you don't get anymore. And, of course, without Cuba Gooding Jr., it wouldn't really be much of a movie. I have to say, Renee Zellweger, she's probably the weak link for me. But the rest of it's very entertaining. And, it's very 90s, but,
yeah.
It endures.
Yeah, I mean, no spoilers or anything, but it's pretty good. If you haven't seen Jerry Maguire, check it out.
You know what? There's tons of people that haven't seen Jerry Maguire.
Okay.
We old.
We are old.
Okay, just reminder.
Okay, good. All right. It's good to, bring me back down to earth. I was getting so happy and excited and feeling so youthful there for a sec.
Oh, well, watch out. It's a slippery slope.
Anyway, so this week we're super excited. We had another double date.
We did.
With our friends Kimberly, Nicole, and Cleveland.
Yes.
And
it was a lot of fun.
It was super fun.
Yeah.
They're just fun to talk to, interesting, great stories and stuff.
Yep.
And we get to delve into their love story this week, which is pretty amazing. It's there's a kind of a parallel a little bit with roles reversed with, our story with love at first sight almost, or I know I'm going to get married to this person, thoughts early
which
on.
I was surprised and I didn't know that part, which is interesting. I mean, I think there's a certain element. I'm starting to see some themes, as we talk to people and we learn about how people meet and what goes on in the beginning.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
What makes them successful? What makes them, last?
Yeah.
And the theme of the team has come up, which is funny because it's Team Babe.
Well, yeah, and they're another, Team Babe of their own.
That's right.
Yeah, and speaking of, fires, they lost their house in the fire a couple of years ago.
We didn't even touch on that.
And here they are. They're still together, and they're still doing the damn thing.
Yeah.
And there's really something to be said for that because, boy, it's a lot of ups and downs.
Yeah, it's impressive. It's, it's another kind of inspirational
it is,
tale or whatever. They get some good advice and good stories, and they're just all around awesome. So anyway, put your hands and feet together for our friends Kimberly, Nicole, and Cleveland.
So, Kimberly and Cleveland, thank you so much for being on the show. How are you guys?
Well, doing well. Thanks for having us, you guys. We're excited to be here.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And who's your little pal?
Oh yeah.
Your little dog pal. Who's
This
that?
is Daisy,
Oh.
aka Dewberry. Her name's Daisy, like her government name is Daisy. We call her Dewberry because she just, look at that face. That looks like a little dewberry.
Yeah,
So
she does.
anyway, yeah, she's got her own agenda. We could try to keep her excluded, and she will
bull guard it.
She'll
Yeah.
find her way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very, very determined little butt.
Well, dogs are welcome on Team Babe, so that's
Oh,
all good.
yay, that's good.
Sweet.
Is
I
she
love
your
her
first
little
dog
peach
you guys
face.
have had on here, or what?
Yeah. her little peach ears.
Yeah.
Cute. Okay, so we're gonna hear all about your love story. So we figured, well, why not start at the beginning, right? Maybe you all can tell us how you met.
Do you want to take this part of the story, or do you want me to take this
I
part
revel
of
in
the story?
this because it's such a unique story. To be honest with you, the stars aligned. Things on her end were kind of, ending, and things on my end were kind of ending with other, they're on their way out basically, for both of us. And I just got this thing in my head. I'm like, you know what? I think it's time to start, kind of like looking a little bit. And the first thing I thought of, because anytime I'm in California, I always ask. I'm always here to see my guy Flip, Winston. That's it, Winston. And
Nice job.
we call him Flip. But anyway, he's a guy like, hey, so do you have anyone that you know? And he said, actually, I'm going to be in town. This is like in January of 2007. He said, I'm going to be in town soon. He said, I'll see what I can do, because he and his mother are like
That's the matchmaking in this family you ever want to meet.
Seriously. They have matched up some seriousness.
They have a particular penchant for
really
putting people
They're on a
together.
mission.
So he got picked up actually at the airport.
I picked him up because he was coming in for what he thought was a concert that his cousin had procured backstage passes for.
Oh.
And it really wasn't a concert. It was actually his surprise 30th
birthday party. Yeah.
Nice.
So we all played along, all
Yeah.
cute, and picked him up, and we hung out, and we went shopping, and went out to eat lunch or whatever. And he asked me, I remember right where we were at some pizza spot, and he said, well, so are you dating anybody? And I was like, well, yeah, the guy I've been seeing, but yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
And then he's like, I have a friend I want you to meet. And I'm like, I gave him a side eye, of course, because I'm like, don't hook me up with no crazy people. You already know, Flip, it's not going to happen. Like, no, like, who is this person? And he's like, yeah, his name is Cleveland. He's real cool. He's, he's a musician. He's a real cool guy. I said, okay, I'll meet him. And I was like, we'll meet him at the concert tomorrow.
Oh, right.
AKA, what he didn't know was his birthday party. So
Nice.
So then here's where it gets okay. What happened? What had happened was
we were gonna meet. He said we were gonna meet at the concert. That what he said?
we thought we were gonna meet at a concert. So
no.
We know. Okay, you tell it if you know.
No. What did he say when we were supposed to meet?
We weren't going to meet at the party. Sorry.
No, there's a point to this, and you guys will definitely understand when she finishes this one. Go ahead.
Technically, we were supposed to meet the night before.
At what?
At a gig that Cleveland was doing.
Okay.
And what had happened?
Why didn't we meet that night? What were you doing?
I went to the mall. I lost track of time. Because I tend to do that in the mall. I can black out in the mall any day.
Oh,
you already know. You guys know that I do love the
serious shopper, so I had no chance that night.
Yes, I
No,
know.
I got there. I did get there, and I mean, and in my defense, I was shopping because I wanted to look cute. I wanted to be adorable, and I wanted to be
the day of.
always.
You don't even wear the clothes.
Girl feels the need to go shopping the day of. I always want to shop. That's nothing new.
It's part of the day. Yeah.
I was at the mall. I lost track of time. By the time I got all jazzed up and drove to LA, he had another gig to go to.
I had a studio session actually up at Topanga Canyon.
Oh, wow.
I remember because I was like, man, it'd been nice to actually kind of meet her. But
still throwing shade 13 years later.
I actually that night was I really wasn't even thinking on those lines. I didn't. It wasn't. I shouldn't say it like this, but I don't want it to sound the way it does. How I'm gonna say it, but basically, I didn't put much stock into it. Meaning, like I wasn't like pressed. Like hey, I had to meet her. It wasn't what they call. What do the kids call thirsty?
Thirsty.
Yeah.
It wasn't because again. I had waited this long. I had just turned 30 the year, like 8 or 9 months prior. And so I'm like in my 30s. I'm just moving to California. I mean, yes, I was ready, but I mean, press no. So if I didn't see her that night, I'm like, okay, she's in California, so maybe we'll run into each other. I had no idea. Number one, the connections that we of people that we know that I'm surprised that we had not met each other beforehand.
Okay.
Wow.
Huh.
That's wild.
It's very strange because even with our friends, the same friends that we have in common, our families, where our families come from, are extremely close. I mean, in proximity.
We'll have to tell y'all
we'll
about
tell
that
that
later.
But anyway,
Wow.
it's surprising we hadn't met before this, but so she didn't because she was shopping. We didn't meet.
I missed the first night.
Yeah,
but the next night.
So that was Friday night, I think, and then Saturday night was the actual party. Sunday?
It was Saturday. We were supposed to meet you. Sunday was
the party. So there was. I'm going to skate over this real quick. There was a party bus from Riverside to LA that may or may not have had a pole, but we don't talk about that. Anyway, so it took us about a couple of hours to get to LA. And by the time I got to LA, when I tell you it was a party bus, I drank so much. I was.
He was done.
Oh, man.
We were all, and we were loud going into the Standard. I don't know if you know the Standard Hotel that's downtown LA, where it has the rooftop bar.
Really
and that's where they were having the party and everything.
Oh, wow.
And so, I mean, when I tell you, I mean, I'm not going to get into what I even drank. It was just, I was lit. We're not talking about shots. We're talking about glass. Yes. It was ridiculous. And also, we're having fun. It was a great time. We were having a great time. So I get up there, and I'm like, everything is swirling.
Oh,
but I'm, again, having a great time, just living it up. And then Flip comes over and says, hey, this is who I was going to introduce to you the other night. And so as soon as he said this, I had this moment of sobriety. Like I had to get it together because she was not going to hear me slur. Like the first time she meets me, hey, she could be my forever, right? Yeah. And so I'm like, I don't want her to see the first thing. I'm not trying to do that. And so I somehow got it together. Now this is the funny part.
So can I tell you part? Okay. So I had myself all dolled up. Everything, got to meet him. When I saw him, I'm like, man, he's pretty cute. Like, he's really handsome. So one of my friends, Jez and I were there, and Jez and I are looking, and we're kind of like sizing him up, trying to figure this out. So when he came over, he was like, "Oh, hey, very nice to meet you. All smooth, cool as a fan." I had no idea he was
nice job.
Every ounce of anything I could pull together to make sure that my words came out clearly.
Yeah.
When I tell you, have you ever heard of speed dating? Where you quickly get, wait, how are you doing? I mean, it was quick. I mean, within maybe 3 or 4 minutes.
He was like, "Oh, so-and-so, what are you doing?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm teaching. I'm blah, 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 blah. Oh, that's great. Well, it was great to meet you." And I'm like,
because I started hearing my words slur. I'm like, she's gonna
hold it together, Cleveland. Yeah. You're like, hold it together, Cleveland. Come on.
I was trying. And finally I was like, okay, I reached my limit within like the 3 or 4 minute mark.
And that was the quickest little elevator pitch dating I have ever seen. And I felt like, okay, maybe my hair didn't turn out as fly as I thought. He wasn't liking me.
It gets worse.
I'm like, all right, I guess we didn't hit it off. It was quick. I was just like,
and so I dart around the corner to collect myself. At the time I smoked, so I think I had like 2 or 3 cigarettes just so I could get myself together. And finally, now understand that again, I was lit that night. I do remember that with clarity because again, I had to pull myself together.
Yeah.
But everything after that is a blur. Everything after that. And apparently, in my blur, I was a gentleman.
He was still a perfect gentleman. So the birthday boy's cake was downstairs in the lobby. So everybody goes down. We go down into the lobby and we're all gathered around to, sing him happy birthday and whatever. And so apparently when the cake was being cut, there was a piece of cake on the floor. So I go to step around it. And Cleveland notices that there's cake on the floor. So he gently takes my hand and helps me get over the cake so I don't bust my tail in the middle of the standard, because that would be a no-go. Because I had on really cute high heels too. So needless to say, if I'd have fallen down, it would have been a bad move. So he reached over and I was like, "Oh, thank you." Meanwhile, I'm still harboring the, okay, I guess he doesn't like me from upstairs. So finally I'm just like, okay, well, thank you. It's so sweet. And we go back up the escalator. We're dancing on the dance floor. I'm dancing with just a friend of ours, one of Flip's cousins. We were just dancing and whatever. And then this one, his liquor must have come down, because next thing I know,
I was still lit.
Which
is why I probably had the courage. But I just started literally they're dancing together. I just rolled beside them and just started dancing with them.
And we're just like
and doing silly dances. I mean, just being nuts. I kind of remember that part. But parts after that, and some of the things that she said before.
And then next thing I know, he's like, "Can I cut in on the guy?" And he was like, "Oh yeah, sure," because it was literally nothing like that. And I'm just like, "Okay." I'm like, "Oh, now we're talking. Now you feel confident, or now you decided that you like me." And I'm kind of like this. I'm still kind of side-eyeing and a little uncertain.
Yeah.
But we just talked. We really laughed and had fun. And he asked me, "What did you tell me?"
I said at the end, again, I don't remember this, but apparently I gave her my card. I was so happy that I got these, because I was my entire reason for moving to California was to break into the music business, and so I have my business cards with me. So
he's like, "So here's my card. I have a card."
I have a card.
I'm like,
I guess I was trying to be like, I don't know, a player or something. I was like, "The ball's in your court," she was like,
no, the ball's in yours.
Put her number on there. You call me. I was like, I think at that moment I was like, okay, I'm not dealing with, a typical.
Yeah.
I shouldn't say typical, but like a woman that is that hasn't had herself together. She and I think that part. I actually do remember that.
Yeah.
And that impressed me. Because she wasn't about taking any stuff, or someone like, "Oh, okay."
And I was not going to chase her.
And honestly, if she had done that, I probably would not have we probably, I know we wouldn't have gone this far.
Yeah.
And I think that I waited a couple of days to finally
Yes,
call.
he waited the standard 3 days. But no, maybe he waited 2 days. I don't know.
You can't, again, you can't be thirsty.
Can't be thirsty. Yeah.
Well, when he called, we actually got a chance to really connect. He called like early in the afternoon, and we talked and talked and talked.
Why couldn't we talk right then when I called you? What were you doing? Shopping with your mama. And see, this is
I'm sensing a theme here.
Pattern, okay?
The thing. But
Look,
later on,
I like
she
to shop. What's the problem?
She said she would call me later on. Now this is where it gets good. This is where it gets good. I again was lit that night. I did not know what she looked like.
He couldn't remember my face at all.
Completely forgot.
But he remembered. He did remember that he liked talking to me.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm kind of happy about that. In the grand scheme of things, I'm like, on one hand, you were lit out your mind if you don't remember my face. And I could discredit you for that. But on the other hand, my personality shined through, and maybe sometimes as women, we like to be, recognized for who we are as a person, and that somebody remembered that part of it. So I'm like,
So in that first conversation that we had, I think right before she told me that she'll call me later, I asked her, does she have a MySpace page?
Oh.
This is how long ago it was.
Yeah, this is how long ago it was. And so she said, yeah. She told me what it was, and I said, okay, good. She had no idea the reason why. So I was
need a little face refresher.
Oh yeah, you had to remember.
So
what
I looked on there. I was like, oh, right. Okay. I think we'll be good. It's
so
not that I'm shallow. It's just
I'm trying to remember if this is the right person.
I wanted to make sure that I had like little shots, and I remember that there was definitely cuteness there, but I just did not remember. I really could not remember her face. Her face honestly was a blur.
Yeah.
And everything else,
funny.
was kind of a blur too. But when I saw the pictures, I'm like, oh, she needs to call.
Well, I mean, you wouldn't
I
be
didn't
able
call
to
him,
pick her
as
out
I
of a
told
crowd
you
if
that
you
night.
needed to.
I'm not calling.
No, I mean she's calling when she was done. She was done with her shopping.
And I did, and we talked, and
literally
you don't let me talk.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Hey. So we ended up talking a long, long time for just several hours, and then hours on top of that, and hours on top of that, to the point where I looked around. I was supposed to be substitute teaching the next day at like 7:30. Well, it was like 5 in the morning.
Oh my gosh! Wow.
I'm real tired all day, and I'm going to be angry with him because he's the reason I like can't keep my eyes open, right? So anyway, it was one of those good talks. Honestly, the rest of the day was one of those your adrenaline, your excitement carries you through. So the next night we started talking again, and we've been talking every night since. I mean,
wow.
We've had a couple of bumps in the road and things, times where we haven't, and just really rough experiences as well. But one thing that's been consistent is we've always been a team somehow or another, and I think that's important. I think we have fun together, we laugh, we go back and forth and mess with each other all the time. I think that laughter is probably what's brought us back to center when sometimes we've gotten, on one end of the spectrum or another. That laughter and that friendship really connects us and brings us back. So I like that part. So
we could say the same. I mean, it's like without the friend part and without the funny and the jokes and being able to laugh at stuff even when it's not funny, that is so necessary. Like if we didn't have that, it's like I don't know. It probably would have been a deal breaker. No funny, I would have been out.
So true. So true. Yeah.
Cool. So, like how long were you dating before you guys kind of knew like, oh, he's the one or she's the one, this is going to be the real deal?
I knew from the first day that this was who I was going to marry.
Wow.
I'm going to tell it.
From that
yes,
day?
I am going to tell it. I absolutely am. Again, this is some good stuff, y'all. So look, we decided to do some Miyagi's.
Yeah, we went to Miyagi's in LA. It was a little, actually, it may still be there. I'm hoping it's still there. It had really good sushi, and they had a poetry night. They had some events that they would host there occasionally, but it was also a nightclub. So after, we finally figured out when to meet, Miyagi's was the spot, and there was a poetry night there going on, and so they had everything set up, and we were there, and I was, I'll let him tell that part because he's got it. He's gonna mess. He's
The
gonna
first
put me all
we again, Kim was dressed to the nines. You know how she can dress very well, and she was particularly just put together well that night.
Yeah.
And I remember it was a shark's tooth dress with the
Shark's tooth.
Is it shark's tooth? Hound's tooth? What do you call it?
Shark's tooth.
I don't know what is it called? It's a
Hound's
tooth.
But it wasn't even it was not a hound's tooth.
It was.
It was not.
It
was a pale gray wool coat with a fine pattern, but not a hound's tooth, and a pale paint dress, like an icy paint dress, and
nice
gray heels, and it was fun. I mean, it was I
was off. Okay, so anyway, whatever it was, I maybe I'm mixing up the dates, whatever. But anyway, whatever it was, it was awesome.
Yeah.
And so she came in, and I'm just like, wow, I don't even know if I was even dressed all that well.
Right? Exactly. Yeah, okay? He was very well dressed. He looked nicely put together.
Because again, I had come from the studio session, and so I had been working pretty much every day. But anyway, so we met, and she's the main thing is just showcasing different talent, like poetry readings and everything, but one of the acts was a comedy, comedy act, stand-up act, right?
Right.
And the guy was funny, we were having a great time. We were laughing. I got to sit for this one because I got to give the demonstration. So as we're laughing, and it's funny, and the guy says something. We're like, ha ha. We go forward. Kim busts her head on the chair in front of her. And I just turned like this, like, oh my God.
Oh no.
I mean, it was
man. I misjudged how close the chair was.
I'm thinking to myself, here is this so well put together girl who just creamed herself on this chair. And tried to look it up. I'm just like, oh my God, I'm in love. And honestly, the dynamic of the date changed at that point. The jitters of going on a first date, it was gone.
It was the icebreaker.
It was her bus.
I really didn't. Nah, that was not
my God.
That's quite the master plan.
I didn't get a knot on her head.
I didn't have a knot hit that hard. But your memory.
But you did. And I was just like, I am in love at this point. If I probably could have said the words even in that moment. I understand we had been talking for like almost a week, so I hadn't gotten a chance to really kind of know her. Even in that week, we spoke a lot. And but after seeing that, I was like, everything just changed. And we had that was a really good night too.
We did. We had all kinds of fun, and I think that's what it was. We always had fun together, and we laughed together. And it's funny. I can register now, and I didn't know it then. But I register now that his face showed that he had seen what I did. I wish I had known that then, because I could have run interference. Like now he's like, oh, you really didn't bust your noggin open. Okay, good luck with that. But all right, yeah. So anyway, that was one of those fun moments that I think broke the ice for us. And I don't know. I mean, it just let us know we had like a human way of going about the world, and it wasn't just this everybody's perfect thing. It was everybody has their quirks thing, and the quirks might be the reason why you care for somebody or what makes them that endearing, in some way or another. So
it was so easy. It was so easy to make it seem, I don't know, so comfortable. So
Mm-hmm.
very, very soon. I mean, there were any jitters that I had left the moment she busted her head on that chair, but it was more than just that. It was also the fact that just the way that we interacted was just so
Mm-hmm.
like it seemed seamless. It was so seamless, and I think that that's the reason why. Like a month later, we decided to be exclusive,
Yeah.
and then I actually at that point started like thinking of how was I going to propose. I honestly was
Wow.
thinking like that. I mean, within like a couple of months, I was
He
already
didn't
there.
tell me that.
No.
He didn't tell me any of that.
No.
But
Uh-huh.
he knew that. And I
Yeah.
think that's one of those things
That's
where people
awesome.
say and it's kind of weird, but you kind of do.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I don't know that I was like thinking that that's what he was thinking at that time, but in my head, it was just, I've been comfortable with this person like I've known him forever, and I have
Yeah.
not. But
Mhm.
why do I feel safe with somebody that I've never known for a long period of time? And I have not had a chance to see how he is in a whole bunch of different situations and how he's going to react. But in that moment, I still knew that I was safe with him. And I think that was the most amazing and strange and awesome thing all at the same time. And I
Yeah.
think that's what for me was like, yeah, everything's good. And so his birthday was in April, and he is a Disney fiend.
Mhm.
I love Disney, and I
Yeah.
grew up in SoCal, so I'm very used to going to Disney often. He
Mhm.
always went to Disneyland on vacations, and so for him, he's like a diehard Disney person.
Mm.
Like, I think because I went so often, for me, it's not as much of a big deal. But he wanted to go to Disneyland for his birthday, so I brought him to Disneyland for his birthday, and we had the best birthday experience at Disneyland. It was so much fun. We laughed. We took pictures. We took
Oh
video.
my gosh! It was 2 days. It was 2 day
Oh
events.
yeah, we went to. That's right.
We went to California Adventure.
We went to
Day.
California
Nice.
Adventure and
Wow.
Disneyland, and it was amazing. And I think just being able, then we had a video that ended up talking about something we wanted to show our kids later, and I think that made it more real for us. And that was in April of.
Wow.
Yeah, we were out. I remember
2007.
where we were. We were
Yeah.
outside eating those clam chowder bowls outside of
So good.
the Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is the video we're gonna show our kids. You know what I mean? But again, I was already in that. My headspace was already there.
Yeah.
How
That's so
soon
cool.
did you meet Alex?
Oh, I didn't meet Alex for quite a while after that. We met Alex when we moved up here. I physically met Alex when we moved here after that. So I didn't meet Alex till I believe 2000.
We didn't go to Disney with him.
That was the next day, 2008 or 2009. It was a little bit of time because we wanted to make sure we had.
For some reason, I thought that was right after.
Yeah, we wanted
I guess it
to.
was. Yeah.
We wanted to kind of be respectful. He was still so young. We wanted to make sure he was in the right kind of headspace to make sure that he would feel comfortable with me becoming part of his family. And when he and I met, my stepson Alex, he will be 22 coming up, which I can't believe.
Wow.
That's
But
amazing.
he was 9 when I met him,
Oh my
and he was
goodness.
really this shy little boy. And
Yeah.
I remember we picked him up from the airport with his grandpa Jay, and we drove around, ran a couple errands, grabbed some food, and then when we got to my in-laws' house in Paris, Alex jumped out of the car and he put his little hand out to help me get out of the car. And that was it. I was a goner. I was like,
awesome.
oh, come on. Like, if I was ever trying to hold off and be like, no, I'm not going to connect, there was no chance, because he just was a sweet, genuine kid. And I knew right then that, he was his dad. I mean, he had a lot of tendencies of his dad, and his grandpa had shown him good things and taught him good things too. And he was a good boy. So, so that was in 2009. That's when that actually,
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
So that was 11 years ago.
Hearing you talk about that, it's funny because isn't Braxton your other son 9 now?
Yes, our little boy is 9, and he's 9 going on 29 some days, and he's so smart. And some days we just never know what that kid's gonna say or do, or he wants his own YouTube channel, and we're still kind of deciding as to whether or not we want him to do that at 9.
He's so ready. He honestly, he's natural. He's a natural for it. It's kind of scary.
Yeah. He's like, Mom, are you recording this? Are you recording? And we're like, and then he gets on, and it's like, and he's just, hi, I'm Braxton Bonet, and blah, blah, blah. We're like, oh, you're either going to be a journalist or an actor or
he loves the camera.
A musician. So cool. Like Dad.
Is he doing any music? I can't remember if he's like musical at all. Is he doing any music or anything, or is that not part of his life yet?
He is. Well, he was doing drum lessons, but
oh, cool.
We have to get him back into that. We're trying to get this with everything happening right now. It's kind of hard to.
COVID really makes it difficult to do just about everything, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's. I mean, to have to just plan everything around this nebulous thing that we can't see is very, very hard. It's a very difficult thing, but it's what we need to do, and we'll keep doing it to keep everybody safe. That's a simple thing we can do. It's not easy, but it is a simple thing just to decide that safety is more important. But we miss drum lessons. I know he misses that. And I mean, we miss travel, just miss spending time with our friends. Robin, I miss our girl dates. I want to go back where we can sit at a restaurant and just
hang out.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or go shopping, because you know how I love to shop. Robin does too, so we're a good company.
We are like a tag team of just like hours and hours and hours of shopping till they close the store. That's pretty much how we do it.
Did we get put out last time, Robin?
Almost. Yeah, almost. They were
you guys got some great stuff last time.
We did.
We did. I love our photo shoot where we had our little
the Batgirl cap.
Yeah.
All those two.
Yeah.
Yes,
we were in that parking lot just.
Oh, yes.
Posing it.
Don't need a special occasion to do a photo shoot. You know what I mean? Just do it in the parking lot. Whatever. No, it was really fun. And I'm so glad that we got to do that. That was like 2 days before everything with COVID kind of blew up.
Right.
Was it really?
That's exactly, that was the same week. You're so right. That was that Saturday before.
Yeah, because we were making plans for dinner and this and that. Then all of a sudden it was like, oh, there's a pandemic. Okay.
Just a record scratch, like, can we please live life? No, not right now. But you know what's crazy though is like even as much as that's been a really hard thing, it's also like really strengthened a lot of bonds with friends and family, and it's like not being able to see them has made you make the extra effort to connect with them, because it's easy enough to be like, hey, let's go grab dinner together, or, oh, let's go do this or this. But, when you have to make that extra effort and there is no direct, immediate gratification of being able to see them and give them a hug or do anything, going above and beyond, like you do connect, more deeply with people. And I think that's important. Like I've spent more time with my cousins, Zoom calls till 2 and 3 in the morning, and we're laughing and playing music trivia and movie trivia, which this guy, he always helps because he's the guy that knows all the movies in and out.
That's awesome.
I'm a music buff. He's the movie buff. And so
you're really good at trivia.
I mean,
movie trivia, music trivia, we would kill it.
We'd kill it. I'll tell you, this game that we've been playing, my cousin will play. There's a lot of songs that they use a sample from an older song.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So my cousin will play the older song and ask, well, what song reused that same sample? Well, if he asks that, I'm gonna get it because that's just kind of really good at it. I don't know. But the other day he was like, okay, if you pick the 60s and you pick 60s TV or you pick 60s movies, 60s whatever, this guy is out here the other day on the couch and I'm in there and I'm like, I don't know what that is. And he's like, so-and-so. I'm like, why are you in there and not in here? I could be getting points if you were close by. He was in here watching some show or other, but So
Yeah.
Needless to say, we're a good team. We like to laugh. We probably get on each other's damn nerves often, but we.
You only can get on someone's nerves who you're close to. Honestly, that's true.
Yeah.
I honestly believe that you can only make yourself. It's someone who is not connected to you cannot make you mad enough.
Yeah, don't know how to push your buttons unless you're really close.
People that are close, you know.
Yeah.
Like I was thinking about that. You were saying, you know, it sounds like you guys just clicked so well, like very quickly and stuff. And it's funny because Robin also, you know, told me later that she knew she was going to marry me. You know, like the first time she saw me.
Like we didn't even talk yet.
Basically, she was like, "That's the guy I'm going to marry."
It's so crazy.
Which blows my mind. And the bummer is I don't remember that interaction at all.
Yeah, you were just kind of like looking at me like, "Who's this weirdo?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna marry you."
Yeah.
How did you know, Robin? What was it that like? What feeling was it? Like, what happened in that moment?
I don't know. It was really simple. I was just walking to class at the college, and Jason was walking to the parking lot, and we just like, you know, crossed paths, you know, just randomly. And I don't know. I just looked at him and was like, "Wow, I'm gonna marry this guy." Like that's weird.
That's crazy.
And he just kind of like half laughed at me as I was walking by. I remember it kind of pissed me off, but I was like, dang, he's already like pushing my buttons. Like we haven't even talked yet. You know what I mean? Like he's already like
really, Jason.
It wasn't like purposeful negging or anything like that. Like I think you said your hair like flipped up in the wind or whatever.
Yeah, super
like,
short hair.
I laughed at you, but I don't remember this. I so wish I did. This is one of those times when I'm like, oh man, I wish I could remember this because.
Yeah, well, but it was just funny, one little moment. I don't know, and then come to find out later, I think we talked about this before that we knew each other as kids, but I didn't know that at the time, and so maybe there was a cosmic connection or something where it felt like, oh, you're so familiar, or like, oh, I know you, or something. You know, there was like something there.
Okay.
And yeah, I don't know. Some of those things you just can't explain. I guess just a feeling. Just like, yep, that's it.
You literally instantly like, I'm gonna marry that guy. Like in your head, that was it. No question, just out of nowhere. In your head, that popped up.
Yeah, and then when I got to class, I remember I had a friend in my class, and I remember saying, "Oh, I saw this really cute guy, on my way to class," and I'm like describing him. Oh, he's tall and he has brown hair, and blah blah blah. And she's like, "Oh, I know that guy. That's Jason." And I was like, "Oh, okay, great." So then my mission was like to get her to like introduce us or something, Like I was like, yeah, so where do you think he hangs out? And, like trying to like cross paths again because, it was like no cell phones, no nothing. So it was like that kind of thing where it was like, will I ever see you again? I don't know.
Probably neither of us had a business card or anything.
No business cards. I wish
Jason, the least you could have done was slide Robin your business card, okay? And Robin could have said, you call me.
Oh, no, I would have loved that if he'd given me his business card. I'd been like, ooh.
You called him?
I would have called him the same day. I'd been like, hello, we're supposed to be together now.
He knows. When you know, you know.
When you know, you know. That's right.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
That is so cool.
Yeah. It's
so
funny.
How long after did you guys, like, once you had that moment in the parking lot, how long after did you guys, like, connect?
I don't know. We didn't really connect probably for about 3 months, 2 to 3 months after that of me stalking you pretty much.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Jason, you didn't know?
What? No, not really. See, it's funny that you mentioned like not being thirsty, Cleveland, because like I was going through like the ultimate non-thirsty period. I was kind of just like, I was kind of done with, pursuing girls at all.
Right.
And so I was just like, whatever. And then maybe because of that or for whatever reason, all of a sudden, like all these girls were interested in me. And I was just like, what the hell is going on? So I think there's something to not being thirsty, man.
There is. Yep.
I tell you what, it's so true. It's like the moment you're like, I'm done. I don't have time for this mess. And then you're like, I'm not even going to worry about it anymore. Then out of nowhere, here comes this guy.
Yeah.
Here comes this lady.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, it was, I kind of felt like, boy, he just didn't pay any attention to me. How dare you? I'll have to change that,
I love it, Robbie.
How dare you?
How dare you is awesome.
How dare you?
How dare you not pay attention to me?
So,
That was, you know what? I could have even thought of a better phrase. That's probably exactly how I felt when he cut me off after like 2 minutes. How dare you? Like, did I fall into bad lighting? Like, what happened?
You're like, I did my hair.
You were getting blurry.
But my feelings were exactly what Robin's were. How dare you? Like, I know I didn't get all this dolled up.
Yeah.
I know I didn't work this hard to be cute, and then just ignore me after 2 minutes.
Blow me off, yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Although, to Jason's credit, like, see, I didn't get all dolled up and I wasn't looking cute. I mean, I was really, like, in my 90s grunge phase. So, like, no makeup, boy haircut, wearing, like, my grandpa's pants or something. I mean, there was nothing attractive, like, happening. But I still, was like, how dare you not pay attention to all this? So, yeah, ego and whatnot.
Hey, ego or confidence? Maybe it's confidence. Like, dude, even in this grunge fit, you gonna pay me some attention today, whether you like it or not.
Yeah, whether you like it or not. Yep, that was so funny. Well, so thinking about like, whenever I look back on like our younger selves, right? Because when you're together with someone for a long time, it's like time, I think it's strange, where it feels like, I mean, sometimes it feels like just yesterday that we had that moment. And other times it feels like 5 lifetimes ago.
Right.
So like, now that you know everything you know and you can look in hindsight and all those things, like, what would you, like, if somebody's like out there and they're dating, they're like back where you were, before you guys got together, and they're dating and they're just like kind of trying to figure it out, like, what would your advice be? Like, what would you tell somebody in that situation?
I'll let you go first on that one.
What would my advice be to someone who is
dating and kind of wondering, like, like maybe they're just in a new relationship or they're looking for a new relationship and they're just kind of like, what should I do or what should I know to make it work? You know what I mean? Like, to find the right person.
No, I mean, honestly, just like you understand it, we understand it as well. It's like when you meet that person, you just know. My mom and dad literally dated for 6 months before they got married. They saw each other at a prayer meeting. And my dad used the line, haven't I seen you before, or something like that? And he actually had. He actually went to college and saw. I know. He actually saw a picture of my mom on his professor's wall, who happened to be my grandfather. He went to the same school that my grandfather actually taught.
Oh, wow.
I grew up Seventh-day Adventist, and the Adventist culture is very, very close-knit. Mm-hmm. And so you're going to end up running into the same people all over the place. Anyway, so he actually went to like a Sabbath after church dinner at my grandfather's house. He saw the picture of my mom, and he said, I'm going to marry her. This is like years ago.
Wow.
And the grandfather kind of snickered, like, okay, because at the time I think she was married. So he's like, yeah, okay, whatever.
Not gonna happen at all. Like, not at all.
It did.
Yeah.
But I mean, he saw her. My mom and dad, I asked them the same thing. They said, my dad said, I just knew. My mom said, when he asked, I knew it was yes.
Yeah.
They just knew. And like, again, 6 months later.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They were ready.
Yeah.
They got married. I came 9.5 months later.
Wow.
Yeah. Wasting the time.
All I have to say is,
Yeah. I can go there. This is public record now, so I'm not going there. But
not public record.
But no. It was very quick. They knew. So if I had to give somebody advice, not to rush it, not to, again, like I guess the theme tonight is thirsty. Don't try to, try to push this thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If
Right.
that person is out there, they honestly will find you.
Yeah.
It is that if it happens when you're in your 50s, or if it happens in your 20s or your teens,
Right.
Whenever it happens, you will absolutely know.
Yeah.
And trying to fit, or to force it in will never ever work out.
Yeah.
Because you know. You can go through the most rocky situation in your marriage or in your relationship, and you will still come out.
Yeah.
Totally. I think we're frozen.
Uh-oh. Did we freeze? Can you guys hear us still? Oh, hold on. Oh, there you are. Oh, you're back.
There we go. Hey,
sorry.
Like, hey, can you see? Why does it say our internet connection is unstable? Hold on.
Uh-oh.
Oh, that happens to us sometimes too.
No, we're
I think you're okay now.
Yeah, we're good now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what I was saying. There's no rush it. It's.
And I think my advice would kind of be something similar, which is, when it's the time, it's the time. But in the meantime, don't sit around and try to deal with people that are clearly not for you. I think a lot of people try to fill the void. They try to fill the space with somebody that is there that can occupy their attention for a little while. And as much as that can be fun and entertaining, that can also just make you burn out. It can make you tired. It can make you unwilling to recognize the good in somebody that might be right there that you're not paying attention to because you're so busy over here with whoever that may or may not be worth your time. So don't settle. Don't be uncompromising. That's not what I mean. But meaning don't settle for somebody that you know is not the right person for you.
Yeah.
Work on living your best life. And when you're happy and when you're flourishing and when you're doing well and you're not checking for everybody else, like what you were saying, you just were doing your own thing. You weren't forcing, you weren't trying to make something happen. That's the moment that it's authentic. And I think that's the moment that it feels the most real. And that when it happens at that time, it's true. And it's not a farce. It's not something you had to create or fabricate. It's a real thing. And
talk yourself into, so some people do. They try to talk themselves into some relationship or something. And it's like if you got an instinct about it, then you don't have to do that. Yeah.
That's exactly it.
That's
and I mean, I think you do have to kind of take it on faith, and you have to, work on doing your best and use whatever quiet time you have. If it's downtime, use it to just, work on whatever things you feel you can work on to be better, whether that's to secure a job that you want, or whether that's to buy your first home, or to travel, or to, read whatever books you wanted to read, create art, create music, whatever it is that you want to do. I think, find your joy, and that joy will come to you. I guess that's my best way to put it.
Yeah. That's good. Beautiful. That's well put. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Well, we know, Cleveland is a musician and you love music. So do you guys have any kind of music you've been listening to during COVID, or something that's been really inspirational?
Do we have what now?
Like an inspirational, like a playlist?
Yeah, a playlist or a song or an album or something that's really you've...
Oh, no, not that. Oh, my God. There's the worst song ever. Oh, my God.
Snoop Dogg.
It's the worst song.
It is bad.
It's terrible.
But we
oh, my God.
Or, we went on a date Valentine's Day. To the wine country, and we decided to kind of go exploring, and we decided our old behinds going to go to a club to it was a mature
mature. That's so sweet how you're putting that.
Mature
I'm 41 years old, right? We were the youngest in there by at least a decade. In some cases, 3 decades. I'm not lying to y'all when I tell you it was 60 plus up in there.
Oh,
we were
my
just
God.
like, what is this? And then you ever like, it was so bad. It was so bad. The outfits it looked like an old players convention, and we did not. We stayed for the people watching because it was so amusing and hilarious.
It was phenomenal. But we decided to finally get on the dance floor, and this song came on.
It's not a good song.
It's not. But it became like our theme song. It's like the worst. But it became our theme song.
I don't even know who was on it, but I don't know that that's the original.
No, it's not. It's the other guy.
I don't know who. Anyway,
the song is called.
That might be his theme song. My theme songs are different. I mean, I am living my best life in general, but my theme songs, like, there's so many. I mean, I think music carries me through on so much. I actually created a Spotify. What do I call it? A 2020 survival.
Oh, I like that.
Oh, that's a good.
And survival, it doesn't mean it's like all like, apocalyptic songs or whatever, but it's just stuff that tries to set my mind back to calm again because there's a lot of stuff going on. And I'm like, I just need something that I can listen to. And one of the songs that I feel has really been a great song, it's not, I think it actually was from a year or two ago. It's her and Damian Marley, who is Damian Marley? No, it's Bob Marley's grandson. I can't think of his name. Anyway, it's a great song, and it's reggae and it's R&B at the same time. It's got a little hip hop vibe to it at the same. Yeah, that for me is my song. I will have to look that up, and I will.
Yeah, send us a link.
I'll look right now as I'll be slicking see if I can find the title, so you guys can know.
Yeah, I think like it's important to seek like comfort and stuff right now, and sometimes like, I don't know, I've found myself like rewatching certain shows, even like listening to a podcast again that I've already listened to the whole thing or whatever, It's just like, sometimes you just need some
something familiar. Something is good, or it's just, something light.
Yeah.
Lighthearted.
Do you hear, like, here's the other thing, are you hearing different things in it now through a different lens, if that makes sense? Like,
definitely.
That's exactly it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I watched the show. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, I definitely pick up new stuff whenever I like re-listen to something, like even listening to music, like, it just depending on your mood, what you're doing, you put some good headphones on or whatever, like I'm picking up like production stuff that I didn't really notice before or whatever, and it's just like super cool. But yeah, totally.
That's exactly it. Yeah, I mean, I think for us, it's been looking very much for nostalgic things. Like we've been, I have some playlists, like songs that are 20 years old that I still love, and it still sounds so good no matter how old I get or how old they get. Mm-hmm. They still sound good. And I think that's a safe place that we can always go to because we remember, like, music will just bring you back to a different point, a different period of time. So, we've been doing that. We've been teaching Braxton, showing him the ropes with Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
We're watching that too.
Started showing him that, and now he loves that. He loves
good.
Twilight Zone because we actually have been exposing him to that as well. Some parents may be judging us right now, but I started watching Twilight Zone when I was young, and I think it taught me a lot. So, and I look all those episodes I hear and find something new in every time as well, because I'm in a different headspace too. So, what else? Oh, he fell in love. He's been watching Sister Sister.
Oh, nice.
Back on, and I'm like, this little boy is really like. He's really drawn to some of those older shows, and he's entertained by them, and the humor is still relevant to him. So that's always pretty cool to see him like the same stuff that we kind of grew up watching, and that he gravitates to it naturally. Because we didn't tell him about Sister Sister. He just landed on Netflix and was like, "Hey, what's this?" And we're like, "What is he watching now?"
That's so funny.
So it was one of the things that we did say.
Oh, did we say that?
Yeah, that's what he did before.
Yeah.
I introduced him to Indiana Jones,
Nice.
those movies, The Karate Kid.
Oh yeah.
And even for me, I've been like rewatching a lot of my '80s movies, like Back to the Future, and right now I got Labyrinth on.
Y'all, he had Labyrinth on this TV a few minutes ago. I was like, "What are you watching? What is this? The Princess Bride?" He's like, "No,
yeah, I would watch Princess Bride too. I mean, just the movies back in the day that just like that really meant something. That just like create good, deeply good feelings, and especially now because you get in the headspace where things are just like so crazy that if you don't feel good about something, it will consume you.
Yeah,
it really honestly will consume you because this is unprecedented.
Right now.
So I think that having those good feelings,
so important.
And finding it wherever you can.
Critical,
absolutely,
yeah, for sure.
Movies, or even music for that matter. I actually downloaded all of Fresh Prince albums from the '80s and
nice.
the '90s. So listen to in the car. The first one that came out was Nightmare on My Street. I don't know if you remember that one at all. That was badass. Yeah.
You old. I'm just saying.
I'm a little bit.
Oh, that's cool.
He's older than me. 3 years, at least. So,
isn't it nice to be the younger one? Like Jason's like 1.5 years older than me, so I'm just so young,
So young and so fabulous, right?
Thanks.
Just like, you're dating a younger woman.
Yeah, I mean, I've been 40 for months, and she just turned 40.
Turned 40. Just a kid,
Wait, no one would ever know looking at you that you're 40. Like 40 is like so amazing.
You
but
are
it's
sweet.
Like in my head, I don't know, but 40's gotten considerably younger than when I was a kid.
Dead all right.
When I was a kid, 40 was old as hell.
I know.
Something about perspective, I think.
It is right? Perspective. It is. It really honestly is.
Yeah.
Well, 40 is the new 20 and 60 is the new 40. And, so you just never get old. That's the
there
deal.
You go.
I like that.
Let's keep that up.
Old is a state of mind. Like, I don't know. I mean, I think there's so many people that are like, their spirit is old and worn out and tired, even if they're a young person. And I feel like that's the way that you age yourself.
Absolutely.
Is really in
attitude.
Just being old up here and not letting any fresh ideas in and no ability to grow or change or just so sad or angry about things. But it's like if you just keep your mind young, eat junk food when you want, stay up late. Stay up till 5 a.m. talking to people and regret it the next day or don't, there's so much you can do to stay young. I mean, I think it's just, eating good food, listening to good music, having good friends, keeping the best people around you, not doing what doesn't feel authentic to you at any point in the day,
that's like 95% of it is being able to laugh. I think. Yeah.
And you're so right too. This whole experience really puts it in perspective. Like, I want to hang out with so many people now, just because, it's a different kind of thirsty. But I'm thirsty for wow, we're in the same room. Holy shit, this is great. I want that. So yeah, we got to make.
Have you had to resist the sudden, unrelenting urge to hug people? I've been like, oh my!
I know. I know.
Hard.
It's so hard. Yep, I know.
Strange times, man.
It's terrible, but maybe things, like I said, maybe some good will come out of this. Just like every other hard time, It's one of the things we went through as a family. Our house burned in the car fire 2 years ago, and it was a huge, devastating thing. It was like unreal, unlike anything we've ever dealt with. But funny enough, it's like you know, in the beginning, it just seems like you'll never get through it. You'll never get over the hurdle of all that loss.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, if we get through that, we can get through anything. Like, if we can conquer something like that and still be able to kind of keep going and rebuild and work as a team,
yeah,
you can get through anything. And maybe this is just one of those things, too. You know, it's atrocious. It's horrible. It feels like it'll never end. Like, when the hell are we going to get back to being able to live our life the way we want?
Yeah.
It'll be a while, but meanwhile, what can we do to, like, improve as we're going? You know?
Yeah. It is a good time to reflect and kind of think about what's important and all that sort of thing. And and I'm sure one of these days we'll get together and we'll share drinks and blow out birthday candles and, you know, hug and it'll happen. I'm sure.
I can't wait.
Yeah.
I cannot wait.
It's almost sick thinking that we're at that point. You know, like one of these days we'll be able to. You know, really.
Yeah, I know.
It's just.
I know.
It's really something out of a really, really bad movie.
This is the Twilight Zone episode. That's what this is. This is a 2020 Twilight Zone episode, and we're like,
absolutely.
And it's not like they haven't written movies that have the exact. I mean, it's not like we didn't know what to expect.
Yeah.
We're like, that was, you know.
Yeah.
We didn't take
books,
things seriously.
for that matter. You know, songs written about it. We were prepared.
Yeah.
No, we weren't. That's the thing. We thought it was a movie.
Knew. I should say. We were warned.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yeah. But
that's true.
It's hard to think about that when, you know, you're just doing your thing and shopping and having dinner and having fun. You're not sitting around going, well, I'm waiting for the pandemic. It's coming any moment.
Right. But not knowing, though, that, you know, how real that actually could be. I mean, literally. Thank God it's you know, it's Corona and not like, you know, Ebola or some other just ridiculous, you know, you know, something like Outbreak, you know, that movie Outbreak, you know, like you know, something that's crazy as that, you know what I mean? I'm just saying, I mean, it could be honestly that died, you know, and that's, you know, and it's, you know, it's probably, I don't know.
It's our opportunity to learn.
I mean,
and we've all been so lucky so far, you know.
Yeah,
so,
we've all been healthy and we're certainly grateful.
Hopefully people will just stay vigilant, stay responsible with what's happening and take whatever steps they can take to be safe, you know, and that's all we can do. I mean, we want to get back to living our best life. That's the way to go about it, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know.
But in the meantime, we can do this. You know, we can get together on Zoom and at least still see each other if it's only from afar, you know. So
yeah. But this still feels like we're in a space together, and that's what I love. I think that's so cool.
It's the next best thing, you know. Yeah.
Definitely. It's not just a phone call, because the phone calls are great, but it's like when you can see somebody and interact with them, and you know, you're like, hey, you're in their computer land, but you're also still right here. I can see your expressions and see your smiles. You know, we can laugh together. That there's something. Those are small things, but they are mighty. You know, they're little things that we don't take those for granted. You know,
for sure. Yeah.
That's too cool.
Well, thank you so much, you guys, for being on the show and telling us your story. It was awesome.
Yeah, beautiful. So good.
So excited.
So let's do this again, and we don't even have to interview you. We can just hang out.
Yeah.
Let's do it
again.
again.
We'll have our wine. We didn't come prepared this time, but next time
we absolutely will.
Hey, we're back.
Yeah.
That was a really fun interview.
That was great. Yeah, that was another goodie, man. I loved, Cleveland, like trying to keep it together, not to slur his words when they first met and stuff.
Yeah, and my favorite part was the business card.
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah.
That's totally my style. If I'd had a business card to give to you, you know, when we first met, I would have done it. But now I have a business card, but not for relationship purposes.
But Kimberly Nicole was like, no, you're going to call me. She wrote her number on. Yeah, she knows.
Smart.
She knows what she wants.
Yep.
That's good, man. That's good. Yeah, so fun times, man.
Yeah, for sure.
So we want to keep the fun times rolling on. We want to keep those fun times rolling.
Oh, hey, maybe you get the fun times in like a canister, like deodorant.
Yeah.
And then you
just roll it on.
You roll it on when you want to have a good time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Cuba Gooding Jr., drip drying in the scene in Jerry Maguire. He's like, very gently rolling on the deodorant or whatever, letting his body dry because he can't use a towel or whatever.
Why can't you use a towel?
Fuck if I know.
Is it like an athlete
Cuba
thing?
Gooding Jr. That's some Cuba shit, man.
Yeah, you don't want to mess up your muscle tone or something.
It might make your skin dry.
I don't know, but he probably had his reasons.
Yeah.
Yeah. Personally, I do that because I'm too lazy to dry myself all the way, but it doesn't have anything to do with being an athlete.
That always freaked me out about you a little bit. Like you would get out of the shower and then you would just leave your back with all these like drips of water like on your back. I'd be like, are you sure you don't want to dry the back off?
But you realize like my hair just makes me wet again. So
no
what's
matter
the
what.
point? I mean, why bother? The back of me is going to be wet for like 2 hours anyway. So, because I'm too lazy to dry my hair, I got some lazy problems.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. So we spent some time earlier talking about cults.
Yeah.
I just wanted to apologize officially for anybody who I upset during that period of the podcast. I was told by our producers that that might have been some inflammatory language and might destabilize the Western world if this gets out.
Wow.
So
I mean, words are powerful, dude.
Words, yeah. That's the truth. And speaking of powerful words,
yes,
we have our signature segment that we are about to delve into. One of the top rising young poets of the late 20th century happens to be sitting right next to me. I happen to be sharing the studio with her right now, which is amazing. It's a thrill. So
that was rehearsed, man. All right, go ahead.
So with that, let us embark on Babe Words. Get a drink.
Yeah, do douse yourself in alcohol before you
me.
Listen or read these words.
Okay. We spoke of cults earlier, and this one I would say has a little bit of a cultish vibe to it.
Yeah, I chose it for that reason.
Yeah, it has been decided. This one is simply titled Shadow. As shadows creep over the desert like snakes in the day, but when people say it's a myth, people make them go away. Why, they don't know.
Wow, that was really epic, dude.
Yeah.
That's
I mean, I don't get like where your shit ends and begins, like where you're supposed to.
It just is a
as
flow.
shadows creep over the deserts like snakes in the day, but when people say it's a myth, people make them go away. Why, they don't know.
Yeah, that's something like that.
Yeah.
I think I didn't read it back ever.
Yeah.
It just like I
sort
wrote
of
it
a
down.
Hemingway type of thing.
Yeah, there's no editing needed.
No editing, no typing it out. I mean, you already conceived of it in your brain.
Right.
And then all that's left after that is to commit it to the page. And then you've got it.
Mm-hmm.
You still got it up here, man.
Mm-hmm.
What do you need to read it?
No.
Fuck that, man.
No.
You're a poet and a genius.
I've let my words flow onto the page and I can do no more. But actually, I chose that one because I thought, well, we had a very strange, shadowy smoke cloud that showed up a couple weeks ago that freaked me the fuck out.
Yeah.
And then in my book that I've been reading, there's some talk of some sharp shadows. So I thought, shadows, that sort of goes along with this strange week.
I like the part where people say it's a myth and make the snakes go away. Because it's like, yeah, man. I'm speaking the truth, man.
Well, if you're in the cult of the shadow.
Yeah.
Okay. That is your truth. But if you're on the outside, it's just a myth, dude.
Yeah.
So.
Deep.
Wow. Well, that little gem is from 1989.
All right. Coming at you from the 1980s.
Yeah, dude. When I was in
Wink, wink.
fourth grade was my most prolific poetry year.
That is amazing. I wonder how many other like famous poets, aside from you, could say that. Emily Dickinson, like, was she just like killing it when she was in fourth grade? I mean, didn't we not even know, or didn't she not even have anything published until after she was dead or something like that?
I mean, I think for women, especially in the old days, they probably weren't even allowed to talk about it or something. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, you're like a little fourth grade Edgar Allan Poe, wearing all black.
No, that was in first grade.
Oh,
I
okay.
wore all black in first
What were you
grade.
wearing in fourth?
Let's see here. Fourth grade would have been a lot of florals. It was a lot of like prints. A lot of flats with bows. Okay, I had turquoise flats. I had pink flats with bows. And I like to carry around a tote bag versus a backpack. Okay, because I was way too grown up for that backpack situation.
Yeah, that's a dumb kid thing, right?
Yeah. And
Backpacks with all your books in it, like some kind of fool.
like a little baby with their backpack.
Yeah, dumb baby who doesn't know a thing.
That's right. I had my black tote bag, okay?
Wow.
Yeah.
That is deep.
I had long hair, sort of like I do now. My eyebrows were much bushier. And I was probably about, I don't know, 5'5" or so.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was pretty big.
Tall one.
Pretty dorky, though, in fourth grade. Fifth grade, turned the corner.
Started to get it together, got into Madonna.
Yeah, well, I mean, I was already
You were already into Madonna. But
I started...
you let your Madonna nature, like, come out,
I dressed a lot like MC Hammer and Michael Jackson in fifth grade. Like I had the Michael Jackson hat.
You had a single glove, right?
No. I had a hat. I had the Michael Jackson hat. And then I had the Hammer pants.
Isn't there a picture of you wearing one glove somewhere?
Probably. I don't know. Probably.
But, like, totally unironically?
Yeah. Well, I had my little studded jackets and stuff.
Okay.
Bedazzled.
You were bad.
I was bad.
Yeah.
Who's bad? It was me.
Yeah. This one over here was bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, man, thanks for joining us on this little adventure. It's been real. It's been good, y'all.
Thanks, dudes.
Yeah. Glad to have you here. If you think of any good shows that we should watch, let us know. And just do the damn thing, man.
Yeah. And maybe we'll catch you on the flip side.
We'll catch you on the flip-flop, for sure.
Yes, I'm going to catch you on the flip-flop.
Yeah. Well, if I'm going to catch anybody on the flip-flop, babe, it's going to be you.
Cool.
You know why?
Why is that?
Because I love you, babe.
Oh, I love you too, babe. Okay. Look at this. Look at these great notes.
You think it's okay?
I do. We did it. Even though we didn't want to. It wasn't so bad. I think we're learning how to keep things shorter.